Greetings. I want to talk just a little bit about how to do the logic project, how to format it. Um, One thing you might want to do is, as you're doing the logic project, is you come up with examples, you know, and suppose you have an ad hominem, and that's a informal fallacy, and so you're going to label it. You're going to start off with a definition, and informal fallacy is blah blah blah. This this example shows the fallacy by, and then you're going to explain it. Okay. Then you're going to want to give the example with the highlighted part. Now you can do all that easily, what I just did in Word, fairly simply, and then at the bottom you're going to give your source. And as I told you, you know, just citation or source. You can just put that and then give this the source using MLA format. But you might be asking, well, how do I get this in? Well, there's two different ways to do it. You could do this, print it out, and then paste your example onto a sheet of paper and then scan it all in at the end and submit it. That would be one way to do it. You could do it all by hand, scan it, and submit it. That's fine. But if you want to do it all in Word and never have to print or scan anything, because maybe you don't have the software, a very simple thing to do is, here we have the online writing lab at Purdue. You can simply, if you have it on your keyboard, over to the, fine, I should have a picture. I'm sorry, I should have pulled that up. So you have a keyboard, it looks sort of like this. There's usually a button on it that looks something like this, print screen. Okay? Now if you hold down your, I believe it's function print screen, and you push it, make sure I have that right, I may have it wrong. And then hit Control V, oops, that did not work. Actually, this is the one I wanted to use. Oops, nope, that was wrong. This is what I wanted, this image here. This is what a keyboard looks like. There's usually a print screen button. In this case, the print screen button is indecipherable. But it's usually over here in this area, and it says PRT or PRNT, as we saw here. It'll say PRT SCN or SC, and depending upon yours, but it should sort of say print screen. And what you do is you hit Control and that button. Okay, simple enough. Then it won't make any difference. You won't see what you just did. But what happens is if you go to a Word file and you hit Control V, so you hit Control Print Screen, and that will print the screen. It'll save it as an image. And if you hit Control V, that will paste it, and you paste it into a Word file or anything else. Then what you can do is you can come in here, and if you double click it, if you have Word, depending on the program you have, you can rotate the image, if you want. You can do that, and you can bring up this dialog box. But probably the most common thing you're going to do is you're going to want to use crop, and you're going to want to come over here and click on it with the crop button held in, and you can then cut the image to what you want. And sort of just, suppose all you want is just one little part of it. You just click on it, and then, yeah, it's not letting me crop it. So sorry. And you can just cut it to where you want it. Then, if you want to make the image bigger or smaller, you can come in and grab the corner, and you can grab the corner and hold down what we call the claw, hit Control, Alt, Shift, and that will lock it so it doesn't get different size, and you can make it smaller, or you can hold that in, and you can make it bigger, etc. And if you don't hold in the Control Alt Shift, then what happens is, oops, I'm sorry. If you don't grab on the corner, you'll actually squeeze the image. So what you do is you're actually changing the shape of the image. So holding in, you either grab at the corner and it'll keep the image the same size. Actually, you don't have to worry about the Control Alt Shift. Just grab at the corner and that'll lock it so it doesn't change the shape of it, because otherwise it looks weird. You can do it a little bit. I mean, you can squeeze it a little bit. That's not a problem. Now, what you can do is if you have a text-based thing, you know, suppose you have something in Word already and you want to paste it in, you could just simply highlight it on the screen. Or suppose, you know, you wanted to use this here and you said, I want to highlight this. You could do the Control Print Screen. That's the part of the text that I'm going to note the fallacy is in. Make sure to highlight something when you're doing this. Then go Control V, and then because that's the only part of it you want, you can just simply crop in. You know, maybe you can say, I want this just to be this part here. And then after you've done that, come back in here and make that a little bit bigger so that it can be seen easily in the report. I can actually read it. You want it to be big enough that I can actually read it. And then that part's highlighted and it's nicely done. You've already highlighted it, and that's one way to do that. If you want to additionally come up here and you want to put just a border on it, you could do that. You could come up here and let me see. For some reason the border option is off, but borders and shading, just right click, and then I'm just going to put a border on it. Okay, let's see if that'll do it. No. Borders and shading, and then let's just go with a 3-point border and box, and okay, and now we have it in a box. If you want it just sort of stand out so you can actually see where the image is, and that's all you can do. So that's just a few quick steps. You can do it that way. You could also just simply, you know, scan it, but that is one way to do the project. It's just to print it, Control Print Screen, and Control V to paste it into a Word file.